This is a this is an interesting question, and I think it's just as interesting to ask why anarchists like to talk about this so much. But that's another debate entirely. By the way, if you want to hear Murray Brookchin answer the same question, I've got it on my videos. It's the video called "The Death of the Workers' Movement," and it's a clip right out of Anarchism in America. So if you've seen that, it's nothing new. Um, but if you want to hear him answer the question, it's pretty interesting too. Um, I also you could answer this question in two ways. Whether you mean oppose, just had a general opposition to authority, and when you actually discovered the philosophy with a title called anarchism. um, for me, it was. I've opposed arbitrary rules ever since I can remember. It, I just never obeyed them, broke them right out, lied, cheat, stealed, whatever I had to do to get by them. Um, it wasn't until I was in middle school that uh, being a social outcast, I got in with a group of geeks, computer geeks, and being into starting to get into computers myself. This is the early '90s. Um, Man, I can't even give you years. Uh, but I was in seventh, eighth, and ninth grade. Um, we had been one of my friends in this group. He kind of thought of himself as the leader anyway. Um, was on a lot of what are known as pirate BBSs, and things that are hard to get into. Uh, and he was bringing in a lot of these crazy uh, text files and just different random information, and it was everything from philosophy, which we really didn't care much for all that stuff at the time. We were kids. We cared more about how to mess with the Kmart employees, and what the security codes were and what the numbers on the phone were to dial to get the different departments or whatever. Um, I remember a lot of UFO type documents, and we that was another one of our big things was the whole UFO conspiracy. That was back then. Boy, this is also in the time of X Files. I can remember X Files premiering during this time period. Um, so we decided to form our own little group, uh, and we called ourselves Anarchists. Um, and we operated kind of in more or less decentralized way, in that we each did whatever we thought was necessary at the time. And but our choice of activism was the school's computer system. They ran all Macs at the school at the time. They were all Apple Mac 2Es, if you know anything about computers. And we, all of us being PC users, Windows 3.1.1 at the time, um, couldn't, you're using a foreign computer at school, and our argument was that all of our peers who we were trying to help use a computer too, um, were being taught how to use these computers that they would never see again. which was practically true for most of them. Uh, Most people still don't have a Mac. Um, and the arguments for having one are pretty slim. Um, but anyway, we hated them and we wanted them out, and we thought that if we took action on both, uh, you know, the whole hacker playful subversive thing by messing with the computers and making it harder for them to use them at the same time, uh, going to the administration and telling them that, oh, these computers are hard to use, you should use Windows, which is what everybody else is using, and that way, you know, we'll be able to show our friends a lot easier what we know. Which is what happens today. And so, I mean, today kids do that. This was just a really new thing then. Um, Kids sit around and they teach each other how to use all these programs. That's how you kids get so good with this crap today. Um, but yeah. Uh, so we do little things each, like we had drawn up a procedure. We even had a little group named Dracul Macabre, as gothic as possible, as dark as possible. Um, yeah, and we had a set procedure that what we do when we sat down at each school computer. We changed like the background to like a certain color. I think it was black and red, as a matter of fact. Um, we'd change like the little hard drive icon, change to something else. I don't remember what else. We changed just basic aesthetic stuff, and also showing people that, there's more than one way to use a computer, not just, going with the default whatever. Um, so, yeah, I had never thought about it as anarchism, but when I look back on it, and years later, I mean, I, what I had found out about the government during that time period, and the cover-ups, and I mean, I was already, pretty, minarchist, libertarian, whatever. The government's bad and it should be basically reduced. But I kind of left the whole radical, the government should be torn down, burning my, dollar bills I got for allowance, that whole shit. Um, Up until I was actually perusing a popular uh, BitTorrent site called demonoid.com. I don't even care to say it. I'll go ahead and drop the name. it Yeah, I was just, there's a lot of movies and stuff, lots of stuff on there, and I was just looking through one day, and this movie Manufacturing Consent came up. Very interesting name. I was immediately, oh really? Let's see if it, because there's a lot of internet documentaries floating around, especially when I saw one, it was from 10 years or so before. Uh, and then once I watched it, I was blown away. It took me two or three watchings to really get the grasp of it. And then right like a week later, Anarchism in America popped up, the torrent, and I grabbed that, and it was like everything that I had thought when I was younger it was there, and it really actually was. I just thought I was playing around and doing this other stuff. um, yeah, and basically that was it for me. Um, Watching Manufacturing Consent and Anarchism in America again, uh, I think are two films that can really help change a lot of people's minds.